closer so I can hear. Oh, this is actually a pretty nice little screenshot that I'm about to grab.
Cool.
Okay, we're ready to start. Let me make sure everything is copacetic on the tech side. Yeah. Everything looks good. Updating. Everybody's good. I love running everything by myself. Everybody, this is when, if you ever hear me complain about Lacey, this is when, just like remind me of these times.
Okay.
Not that I complain about Lacey regularly.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever heard you complain about Lacey, so.
It must just be in my own head. Lacey.
Look at Sean's juggling turkeys. Do it again.
You ever know when like in horses are just walking around and all of a sudden they like start.
Stop
that's how
it.
I feel about. And I love it, by the way. That's how I feel about these turkeys.
We're adding horses to the back because that's where the carriages are. And I told Matt we need to have some steaming horse manure because that's what it would be doing.
That's true. If you could turn them into little turkeys, then that'd be a great Easter egg.
Only turkeys.
Okay, let's go ahead and start this. Everybody, thank you for coming. This is we're going to start doing like we used to do and taking these product meetups on the road. So this was a new experience built by Solus, and I thought it was beautiful, and it's very Christmassy. And
Solus
so
and Mad-Eye.
And Mad-Eye, sorry about that, Mad-Eye. Built by Solus and Mad-Eye. After the meetup, take a look around. It's quite beautiful. I usually just hang out here and listen to music, so I'm really cool. That's what I do. So anyways, that's we're gonna start picking new places to go, and so I'll just find places that I like. And if you want to submit your worlds to be the places where product meetups are, let me know. Of course, you can also submit your worlds for other things. This is a nice segue into something I'll talk about later, but like the new community meetups that are starting to appear on the calendar. Okay, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This is a product meetup, so just like normal, there are a couple of rules. So because there's only a few of us, please make sure to write all of your questions down in whatever chat you're watching this on. Since Lacey's not here today, it will be difficult to get all of the questions the first time around. So if we miss your question or you feel skipped, just repeat your question, and then hopefully one of us will let you know if we've seen it. And everybody wish Lacey good luck at the mouth doctor, which is also a dentist, I think they call them. Naturally, we have the product team here and me, so let's go ahead and introduce ourselves real quick on the Sansar staff side. Why don't we start with you, Stretch?
Oh, yes. Stretch, I'm on the engineering team. Hello.
Galileo, I'm the community manager.
Odin, product person.
And I'm Alex, also a product person.
We seem to be missing Bina. Somebody know if Bina's coming?
Bina is in a meeting. She is going to try her best to make it, so I'm sure she'll.
Felicity was also going to come. Did we tell him the time?
Khaleesi is asking for a megaphone, so I'm guessing he's here.
Where is? Oh, sorry, I'm going to the chat open.
Oh, that's in our Slack.
Oh.
I'm trying to keep all of the windows open.
Khaleesi. Khaleesi, oh geez, what is that name, Khaleesi?
I can't hear you, Felicity. I'm in the thing, but I can't hear you. I hear him in real life from across the room. But
is that Zero T, Khaleesi?
Khaleesi, maybe you could chat, say, I'm here, and then we can get your name a little bit easier, or you can run to the front.
Oh, he's running around there.
Am I not saying anything?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
see.
is the word written on the golden apple that the goddess Eris used to cause the Trojan War.
I was talking about the DUWOT at the end of your handle.
What?
Yeah, exactly. To what? Okay, so Khaleesi is also here. Khaleesi, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Okay, I am a client-side programmer. I've mostly worked on the edit stuff and have recently kind of moved into making things cool.
Khaleesi, your megaphone, but I'm still having trouble hearing you. Maybe you could get closer to your mic.
Or check the inputs or something.
Or check the inputs.
Might be going through your Rift.
That thing again.
Anyway, we should just get started.
Yeah,
Clisty's
yeah.
going to work out his audio problems.
And then Alex, go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
I already did.
Okay, great. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today we've got a pretty exciting release coming up. It will be some of your favorite. It'll be your favorite release that has ever been released, judging by the amount of things that you've been asking for and how often you've been asking for them. So I'm excited to tell you about what's going to be in it, and by I mean the folks around me.
We're getting heels at last?
No. Okay. You're not getting heals, but you're getting some other stuff, and then maybe one day that'll lead to heals through some sort of circuitous machinations of logic, but not yet. But we have other stuff coming. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Just as a reminder, put your questions in chat. Please don't talk out loud, because when I have to find you and then we have to megaphone you to make sure everybody hears you, it's not easy, but it's okay to follow up with a question if it's on the same topic or we ask you to follow up. So them's the rules, and then let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about the release first. I'm going to talk about events real quick, and then we'll do the question and answer session. That's what today's going to look like. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the release. Why don't we start with Bowden? Do you want to talk about the changes to the codex?
Sure. Yeah. So Codex has a couple of really key changes that are going out, and I guess I'll just start with the biggest news first. The Codex will, let's just say, receive a power up and have all worlds accessible via the Codex. So yeah, that change is coming. The Prime Portal, the Nexus, that will all remain. That's still going to be there. You're still going to be able to travel there and find the menus, but the menu will be with you now on your Codex at all times. All the language remains the same. They're still going to be added to your Codex, and you're going to have my visited and all of that good stuff. But yeah, you're going to get access to everything, everywhere. So that's going to be cool. And it's one of those things that we tested and people had varying opinions about. But yeah, it's coming back. The other item is we're adding events to the default carousel. So when you open up your Codex, you're going to be able to see events a little bit easier instead of the current behavior. So those are the two big changes. I'm sure there's lots of other little things that I didn't mention, and you guys will have fun discovering yourself.
Cool. Okay, cool. So, Bowden, that is awesome. Why are we adding events to the main carousel? Do you want to give some insight to the logic behind that?
Yeah, discoverability mostly. It comes down to we shouldn't be hiding where the people are at. And currently with the UI as it's set up, that's what we were doing. We were separating content in a way that was not beneficial to discoverability. So that's a really quick Band-Aid solution to say, hey, if people are somewhere, let's show where the people are at. We're going to keep improving that. We've been talking about all sorts of ways and actually, small little problems that we could easily fix to make sure that if people are somewhere, you see them. Point in case, not hiding events when they expire. That's not going to come out in this release, but it's something we know that we need to fix. Yeah, things like that are on front of the mind, and we're going to keep making changes to support those things.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's super great. So there's a little bit, we're doing a little bit of roadmap sharing without exact dates, but so hopefully we're meeting everybody in the middle, because I know that some folks here have wanted to see a roadmap, and then there's always a debate whether showing one is good or not having one is better. So hopefully we're hitting a nice middle ground here. So thank you, Bowden. What else do we have in the upcoming release? Kalisti, did you want to talk about some of the stuff you've been working on?
A materials API that
Oh no, we can't. I can't hear him.
What?
You're pretty faint, Kalisti.
Am I even more faint or less faint?
I'd say about the same amount of faint.
You should come up to the front too, I think.
Sorry, Kalisti, we got a lot of expectations.
I understand. I don't know why so difficult.
It's always technical problems.
I'm on the right microphone. In case. So the Materials API lets scripters change several different properties of any material in their scene. The tint, emissive intensity, flipbook frame, absorption, brightness, and I think maybe one more.
Hey, Cliffy, just bring the Oculus closer to your face if that's what the input is.
Is this
Yep.
louder?
Yep.
Hey.
100%.
Okay, so apparently I need to
Oh,
like
beautiful.
relog in to actually.
Don't worry about it. Just tell us what you're working on.
I'm working on the Materials API, allowing you to change the tint and certain other properties of materials over time from scripts. You could use it for animating light intensity. I found to be pretty nifty. I have a little demos that I created in-house where I had a light just like really shine up really, really brightly and then fade off to nothing. The intensity. That's about it.
What are the ones that can be changed? What are the material properties that can currently be changed?
Absorption, brightness, flipbook frame, emissive intensity, and tint.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Toasty. That sounds super cool. Everything's going to be a lot more glowy around here soon, which I'm pretty excited about, considering all of these glowy things that are just sitting around. Okay, so what else do we have coming up? I got to check out these release notes. I got to open them up real quick. Chicka, 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 chicka. Anything I'm missing, you all sitting around me?
Community events is next up on the agenda.
Okay,
Our
so
script stuff, but Bina's not here yet.
Okay, so we'll wait for Bina to get back. So let's talk about community events. I know some of you, I mentioned last time that my hours have changed a little bit so that I start later in the day on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that's because we wanted to better serve our North American audiences. Because a lot of times we're having events at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and a lot of folks are at work or school or something, and they can't join. So I moved my hours back later on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays to have events in the evenings for North American audiences. You will notice that I'm trying to reincorporate those slowly to make sure I can be there for those. So right now the Monday night event is Sansar Night Live, basically a show and tell for folks. That's the goal. The Wednesday night event is the Old Atlas Club, where we teach something or we learn about something, although last night we ended up going to Tiny Masters spaghetti run and playing in spaghetti. And then Friday night, this is the new event that's coming up. It'll be Sansar World Tour, and basically it'll just be a community concert that we'll have. So anybody that wants to throw a concert and wants it to, to have everybody there and have us show up and support the event, we'll do that for your normal concerts anyway. But if anybody wants to be part of the Sansar World Tour, that is what that's going to be. We're also going to be recreating those events for European audiences, so don't worry, European folk, we're not going to leave you behind. Just making sure all these events are, ones that people want to go to, and 2, things that I can actually show up to without sacrificing the ability to do other parts of my job. And then the goal at some point, and we've talked about this a little bit last time, is for all of these events to be able to be run by you all in the future, because at some point, someday in the distant future, I will not be able to be around all the time to go to all events, which is something I hate, but it also means that we're growing, so those are good things. So anyways, keep in mind how these events are being run, the types of formats that they are, and then we'll also, as I mentioned earlier, I guess last week, it was during the Hello Kitty product meetup, we're going to be launching a pilot program for events soon, which will not immediately be open to everybody, but we will try to get it open to everybody as soon as possible. The events program is, Sean, why are you punching the ceiling? Oh my God, yes, he is very tall over there. Okay, sorry. The events program will be open up to a few people, and the way that the program will run is we'll have missions for people in the program to accomplish. You'll all be working as a team, so you're not competing against each other. And once you all hit missions, then you'll get some sort of reward. And then we'll be opening that up to the entire community at some point next year, early next year, I think. Sansar World Tour on Friday, 0 Tuesday. I'm going to answer this question now since I'm just talking about it. Yeah, we could. I don't have a time yet, so if we want to do it before the community campfire, we'll do that. One of the things I want to make sure that happens, and so you can always ping me to let me know, is that normally these events will run from 6:30 to 7:30 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I will always try to accommodate a community event. I always try to prioritize that before an event that I run, even though at some point these events will become community events in themselves. So again, the idea is we want as many events as possible all the time, so when people show up here, there's something to do. I'm sure all of you have read our Steam reviews. I'm sure I know all of you have talked about it in Discord. Sometimes people show up and they don't know what's going on, they have anything to do, so that's what we're trying to solve for. And obviously, we need your help. So we're not just going to ask for it, we're going to also try to make that worth your while. Anyways, that's an update there. Keep an eye out for Sansar World Tour. And then European folks, I'll be making events earlier in the day for me, but at the right time of night for you all as well. And then, yeah, I think that's it for me. Is Bina here yet? All right, Bina
I don't think so.
will show up at some point. Why don't we go ahead and take questions? Then when Bina gets here, she can give her updates.
I have some updates if we want to talk about some stuff.
Oh, go for it.
From me. Yeah. So, a couple things. One is there is a change. I wanted to let everybody know here. There is a change coming out in the character editor that right now in the faces, when you morph the face, the normals aren't quite being calculated correctly. And you may have noticed this too with like some kind of, when you morph the face in certain ways, like the normals don't seem to follow the contours of the face. So that's getting fixed, but it might mean that there are new shadows on your face because the normals are getting recalculated. We're not gonna, this release shouldn't force an upgrade, but the next time you save your avatar, if you, without any other change, you might see a change in the shadowing on your face. But I think that it'll look better overall with the new normal calculation, the proper normal calculation. But I just want to give everybody a heads up. The other thing is, it's not coming out in this release, but we're looking at a point release to change the emote system. So I think we've talked about this in the past, potentially, but the current emote system is a little bit cumbersome. You have to go to the character editor, you have to equip emotes, and you can come back. And so if you buy an emote, you can't do anything with it immediately. So the new system is going to be that all your emotes are available all the time in World. So you're going to have hotkeys that you can equip with emotes. I'm getting rained on here. Hotkeys that you can equip to, you can equip emotes to hotkeys. That's on the account level, so you don't do that per character anymore. You can do it while you're in World. And when you buy things, they'll show up immediately in that inventory that's accessible from in World. So you can play an emote immediately. You don't have to leave the world to buy emotes and play them, or play any given emote, swap your emotes. Or when you switch characters, you don't have to worry about re-equipping your emotes. So that's going to be coming out in a point release this month, hopefully. Along with that, the next step on that, because it's kind of a redo of the animation graph, is so my current roadmap is to work on that new emote system. That then hopefully ties into doing animations from script, character animations from script, for things like synchronized dancing, just playing arbitrary animations on the avatars. If you have like a pickup, you can kind of say you like pick up a hammer or something, you like make the character like swing the hammer, stuff like that. Following that on my roadmap is the backpack V2 stuff. So that's more like allowing creators to specify what's in the backpack on a per scene level and add and remove from the backpack from script. So that's what's kind of coming on the engine side of things.
I think the sneaky part that he just wedged in there at the very last part was ability to control backpack contents via script. So you can have like gameplay elements dictating what backpack items you might have accessible to certain players at given times.
Yeah, the backpack for that would be per user stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going, and hopefully that would be, yeah. Along with, we're going to be updating the backpack here this month with some surprises. So we're going to like remove the turkey. I know everyone loves turkey. That's seasonal for Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving's over. So we're gonna remove the turkey, and we're gonna add in some other fun stuff as kind of a filler until we can get more of the user backpack available stuff. So,
Stretch, what's the overhead on everyone having all of their animations?
yes. So
how does that load in?
we're not. It doesn't. So the way it's working, or the way it's going to work when I finish, is that your quick ones, your quick slot animations, the ones you have assigned, those are going to get preloaded, kind of like the animations get loaded now. So everyone's character is going to be a little lighter in that they're not going to, when you join the scene, right now when you join the scene, all of your emotes load that you've equipped with your character, right? So that's great. With the new way, the emotes that you have equipped to your quick slots will load when you come into the scene. So if you use those, everyone will see them immediately. Then if you use an emote that's not a part of your quick slots, you just go to a menu and pick an emote, then that'll late load that emote into the cache and play it. So we're not going to download everyone's 1,000 emotes if they have 1,000 emotes when they join the scene, but you would see potentially delay when you click an emote. You will probably play it immediately, or you will have to download it if you haven't downloaded it yet to your machine, and then it'll play. Everyone else might see you kind of a little later than you see yourself, in a sense, like because they have to download and then start playing the emote. So
Well, that
should be pretty good.
That also has me thinking, like, let's say I make an animation and I want to trigger it when they swing a bat. So it would be better if it was in their quick emotes.
So that is going to be slightly different. So if we're talking about scene creation animations, right? We're talking about people's emotes, or we're talking about scene creation. Because if it's part of the scene, it's going to download with the scene, and so you won't have to download it. The problem with like the way that we're putting out the scripting part, the second part of it, is that it still has to go to the server and then play back. I've wanted always to have it be like you can hook it up in Edit World to like make it tie it to inputs. So you can like click play an animation immediately on the avatar. That's not what this is going to be. That's going to be in the future. This is more like, this is going to be good for things like synchronized emotes. So like synchronized dancing, let's say. So like, me and you can come here and we can dance together for that kind of animation. Or it's going to be good for animations that don't require complete responsiveness. Like I said, like say you like pick up a super hammer and you just start swinging the hammer. That's going to be great. If it's like I want to swing a baseball bat, it's going to be okay, but it's not like for like the zombie experience. I think it'll be fine. Like it won't be completely responsive because it has to go to the server. But if it's like I want to swing and hit a baseball, that's going to be really hard if we have to go to the server. So that's in the future. I'd like to make it so you can hook up the animations directly to input with like some sort of little simple setup. But right now for this new script API, I think it's just going to be through script, which means through the server. With the goal primarily is like the synchronized case for like the events. But the secondary one is that you can do all kinds of cool animations. Like I could like, if there's like a wheel for like sharpening a sword, I could like click that. It's going to have to go to the server and then come back and tell me to do that, but then I can like warp and be sharpening my sword. And that kind of stuff will work. If it needs to be totally responsive, not going to work so well with the first one. So,
the hand IK is pretty cool. So I think
that's great.
Settle us for a little while.
That's great. Yeah, the hand IK is pretty good. That's great. There's a couple bug fixes there too that I fixed. Like the one where if you're in like free cam, it sticks out, and some other ones there. So
that's a feature.
A couple of little minor improvements in this next release for bug fixes. So
I don't know if you noticed, but during dances, if you're holding something, it's like that IK is kicking in, and it's only really affecting your head though.
Huh.
Your head
okay.
Is, like, flopping around.
We should probably turn it off then. That's probably a bug. Zayas, can you log that? Can we try that?
You're holding a aim cursor thing while dancing?
You hold an aim object and dance, and the IK is still on. We should turn off the IK.
So we're starting to get questions in chat, and I want to make sure that we at some point pivot back to that process.
Sure.
Stretch, do you have any more updates specifically for your work?
That's all the updates, yep. So I just wanted to make sure we touch on Backpack, touch on animations, and where that's going. So, yep. Expect those emote things hopefully later this month.
All right. I think, Gala, you want to start running with questions?
Yeah, we'll start doing that. Also, as a reminder, we're going to be out at the lab at the end of the month for about a week. So we're going to try to get everything done before then. But there will be a couple of weeks where nothing will be coming out because we're going to be in a place like this in our own versions of it. Mine is just a cornfield. So, okay. A couple of questions. Let's go ahead and start those questions. Bina's gonna be here at some point. I wonder who she's talking to that can have a conversation that long.
Bina's actually, she doesn't have any updates for us. I checked with her and
What?
yeah, I know. I gave the Codex update. Bina was the one that actually did all of the work. I just got to talk about it. And then Khaleesi talked about the materials API. So Bina is free.
All right, no, Bina's not here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the questions. We've got a couple already. Remember to type those questions in whatever chat you're on. I'm currently monitoring in-world chat, Discord, YouTube, and Twitch, and Steam. So if you have any questions there, just keep typing them until I see them. So we're going to go ahead and start. Question from Loki. I can't sustain high settings for VR, so I use medium settings. But I've noticed that on medium settings, text is blurry and illegible for things like Quest. Why does the lower settings affect text legibility on the UI?
Anyone on the Sansar side want to take that? My answer would be I'm not sure, but maybe someone else here does.
That would be my answer too, unfortunately.
Okay. What we can do, I guess,
it's a render team thing. Unfortunately, there's no one from the render team here. I actually don't know that kind of stuff. So
it's log as a bug or something like that, and then.
But it's definitely a good point. Like having those settings is important so that people on lower end machines can still function properly at high rates. So we need to make sure that it's still usable. And if text is illegible, then it's not usable. So.
Also, what headset are you using? I'm just curious. If so, if you could just ping us back with what headset you're using.
This is the Valve, is that right?
It definitely has the full body trackers.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Zero, do you know what he uses?
5 and index. Okay, cool.
Oh, Vive, that's what I meant. Not Valve.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure he wasn't using an old.
Wait, the index though, that should have a much higher resolution.
Yeah,
surprising
exactly.
that the text is blurry.
Exactly.
So it's probably unless you're very blurry.
We will log a bug.
Yeah, got it noted.
If somebody asked why something was broken here, and it turned out their real life body was broken, the text is blurry because you need glasses. Okay, next question. Let's see what we got. It's the same question. Somebody asked, how many emote hotkeys can we use?
I think we're still deciding. Right now it's set to 8.
Yeah, it was somewhere between 6 and 8.
Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts on what hotkeys you'd want for those to be? Right now they're not reassignable, which is a problem, but if any thoughts on good hotkeys, let me know.
Good hotkeys. All right. Next we have Daisy.
Number pad, maybe.
Number pad, maybe. Yeah. We're worried about overloading the top numbers because you might want those for like scripted for for like your own inventory type systems or like kind of gameplay stuff. So, and then there was some talk about using the F keys, but I think those are probably not great for that too. So maybe some sort of chord like X1, X2, X3, something like that. Or like Control 1, Control 2. So we're kind of leaning towards, I think.
Okay, Daisy asks, I recently bought Marvelous Designer 9, and I noticed a huge bug when I went to upload my textures manually. I have to go back to Marvelous Designer 8 to resave the SAMD file for the textures, not to screw up in worlds. In the past, I've had to contact Kara for problems like these, but who do I contact now?
Contact Zeus. That's what I say. Yeah, we'll have to talk to Marvelous about that because it's clearly a problem on their side of the generation of the texture. So please contact Galileo, contact Zeus, let us know. If you have a sample asset that's the best, you can give it to us. We can follow up with Marvelous Designer to get that kind of bug fixed.
And they added another step in the import in 9 because they give you a choice.
Zeus, is there a preferred way for people to contact you, or are you active on Discord, or do you want to wait for people to kind of raise them in these sorts of forums?
It's a good question that I don't have a good answer for right now. I think
if you have a question for Zeus, send them through me, and then I'll go to him, so that way I can.
That's probably best.
Okay. Excellent. So you can ask me those questions, Daisy. I might not know what you're talking about, but I can at least pass on the words. Emotes in VR, somebody asked. I believe that was, who was that? Somebody asked that. Emotes in VR. Are we going to have them, I guess? Magnaria, do you want to clarify your question?
Shortcut was like, how do you trigger them?
Oh, how do you trigger them?
Oh, there's going to be a menu still for VR. It's going to be different than the current menu. I'm debating on whether to make it like dockable, like the backpack is, like it's docked to your hand, or if it's going to be like something on your arm, or if it's going to be a floating panel. We're going to see what works best, but it's a new panel, not like the current one, kind of like a weird thing. It's going to be there with your. It has two sections to the main UI, which is it has your 8 or 6 or hotkey ones there, and then it has your new and recently used ones. So if you buy one, it'll appear right on that panel. And then there's an editor panel where you can kind of pick which ones go to which hotkeys. So, and have access to all of yours, all of your emotes. So.
Okay, and then somebody asks, how about the sit points on keyframed or dynamic objects?
Yep. It's not on my current roadmap. It comes back to, I think we talked about it before, just like, it'd be great. We have this concept of jointing. And so this is like a subset of the jointing stuff. So what I want is to be able to like take any two objects and just like, boom, stick them together, joint those two things together now, and then they'd be together. And it's the same thing for characters. I want to be able to join stuff to my character. I want to be able to join my character to stuff. And so that's where like sit points and yeah, that'd be great. But not in the immediate future. I don't see it happening.
All right, Stretch, I just gave you a new handle in chat.
Yeah. This is California, man.
Yeah, California, dude. All right, Serb asks, question, can we get access to the control sticks of the VR controllers to use them as input for stuff?
For stuff.
Just stuff.
Well, if you tell us the cool stuff you're going to work on, then we can do it. No, we should do that, yes. That shouldn't be too bad either, because it's already on the server because we're using it, so we just need to pipe that out to script. But I think that should be doable, yes. Especially with the new camera stuff. So you can like tie the camera to a tank and then drive the tank around with your sticks.
Yes. Just wanted to say we were all super impressed by your railgun video today. We were passing it around.
Can you log that Jira, Alex, and then send it over to me? It should be pretty quick to do, I think.
Yep, I'm already.
I can try and squeeze it in.
All right, what do we have going on here? Jalal Cool, I've never seen you before. Welcome to Sansar, and welcome to the product meetup. Jalal Cool asks, how can I create animations?
Well, yeah, so, there's a couple ways. I mean, everyone here, a lot of people here know, so I'd suggest join the Discord. But, using a 3D modeler like Blender or Maya, you can create an FBX of an animation or skeletons on the site. And then, or you can do something like if you have access to Mixamo, we support import from there. So.
I also added a very helpful tutorial from MedHugh onto the Sansar tutorials playlist on our YouTube channel. So you can also go and check that that channel out, that playlist, and I'm sure other people have uploaded stuff as well. Also, as a reminder to everybody, we have a user-created guides section on the user forum. So if you ever want to help somebody do something, put it there. And if you don't want to help anybody do anything, that's fine too. What else do we have here? Okay, Silas asks, if you take the numpad, all of Cerberus' stuff will break. Not a question, but should we talk about this?
Yeah, we're probably not going to take the numpad. Like I said, I think most likely we're leading towards a chord, like a keyboard chord combination, like Control plus a number or X plus a number, to make it so it doesn't conflict with things that are coming from script. That's probably what we're going to do. Hopefully I'm trying to think, because really what we want, if you have these hotkeys, it's going to be sweet to like chain emotes together. So you can be like, okay, dance, spin move, splits, and then another dance. I think. So we want to try and support that use case as best we can.
Say less.
Without having to like open a menu each time, you can just
Yeah,
bing,
exactly.
bang, boom, kick off whatever you want to do.
That's the idea.
Zero asks, any idea on a time frame when we will have the ability to change our standing and sit emote animation?
Yeah, we should do that. I should make that a thing. I mean, maybe we can add it to this menu even where it's like, here's some, maybe
Just override,
some
basically.
overrides for the your standing idle and your sitting. What I'd like to do is sit though. Standing idle is cool. What I'd like to do is sit though is to make it so that the chair maybe dictates how you sit. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm debating. It's like some cases it might be good to have you pick how you sit, but in some cases it might be good for having the chair tell you how to sit. Like, say you want to do I think we've talked about this before, the Riker sit, where you sit, like put your leg over the chair, you put the chair backwards and sit on it that way. Like, it's going to be really hard to like know that you need to have that emote equipped. So it's kind of good to have. Oh, can't hear anything anymore.
I think it's just Serb. I can hear you just fine.
All right, cool. So maybe Cerberus lost his internet connection or voice thing. Sorry, Cerberus. But yeah, I think it'd be good to have that associated with the chair, and maybe not necessarily associated with the avatar, but idle certainly should be something we allow you to override. Because yeah, our idols, I mean, they're a little boring. Not gonna lie, pretty boring. So.
They can use the dances to do that.
You can use the dances to do that now. That it's going to be really easily equipped and really easy to set. Then you could make your dance an idle. It's basically just a quick slot animation. So that animation can be whatever you want.
I think that will be awesome.
So that's.
Have we missed any questions? Those are all we have recorded at the moment, but it's possible that we missed some in chat. If we did miss your question in chat.
A couple just popped up.
We just got some. Hey.
We can do these in real time. Louv asks, can we sort out the arm position in VR when we sit? And also, can we have the ability to remain in first person?
Yes, we should do that. I know there's a bug there. I think that sometimes the arm will appear above your head when you're sitting. Also, we go to third person. There's a little. Maybe I can get your guys' opinion on this. So if you're in first person and you sit down and you're in VR. What should we do if you turn around in meat space in real life? Should we get up? Should we make you stand up? Or should we, what happens if you move left or right? Should we make you bend over, like go to a limit? Or I guess it could kind of act like third person-ish. But
move left or right, I say.
Like actually translate your butt left or right? Or should you stand up and then move left or right within some limit? So there's a couple little things there. But
I think it's annoying every time you get stood up when you click the sit,
Yeah.
But on the flip side, why are you moving once you're sitting?
Just give us a stand button or something.
Stand button. Make it like a toggleable thing, and as opposed to, it's just you have the body. I got out of VR because my starting to do so long in VR, but you could do some butt translation, but you don't want to get off the chair. And then you could do, when you lean, we would need to like recenter you if you move too far away in VR and stuff like that. And then for like spinning in real life versus the chair, maybe we don't spin you at all. You just you don't want to disconnect your camera though, so it kind of puts you in a little bit of a weird spot. But that's something we should look at though.
This is the problem we got.
Translation. That's what we think about. So we spend our time.
Look, this is the problem we got.
Where are you?
I'm on the floor with the antlers.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we are going to fix that. Yep.
And the armpits, please, the armpits.
The armpits.
The black armpits. Which has been there since day one of your reworking.
Okay. Maybe just like a normal thing.
That is what it is. That's been bugged since day one.
Oh. All right, well.
Requested every meeting.
All right. Armpits are too dark. Got it. We are going to be, there is a task to take another pass at the skins on the default skins to make them better. including making them a little glossier, making them a little nicer looking textures. And so, yes, we should fix the armpits. Yes.
Okay. What else do we have here? That might have been our last question. Nope, that's not right. Evo asks, are any expansions to the persistence system planned, like UI to manage stores, store access control, data store, script components, etc.?
There are some planned additions, but I don't know if they're exactly on where they fit exactly on our timelines here. I mean, with the change in focus, we're going to see where that is, but yeah, not that I know of at the moment.
That seems to be the end of our questions so far. We've got about 15 minutes left. Solus asks, what is the timeline for the Avi2 morphs?
I guess those are the body morphs?
Long pause.
The body morphs?
Yeah, for the body morphs.
Yeah. We've done a lot of work on it. I'm not sure where it fits into the new regime, though. So,
is there a chance we may not get it?
I don't think we're going to not get it. I think it's probably going to be at least a few more months, though.
Okay. Yeah. I just have to resort my workflow, and I've been kind of waiting.
Got it. Reduced bag spawning. They're a bit of a griefing tool. That is true. They are a bit of a griefing tool. Right now it's 10 and it cycles. We did implement like the ability to set that. There's a couple like I implemented the backpack, and there were a couple like per world settings that we did when we were doing testing. So you could like set whether you wanted a maximum per world or whether you wanted a maximum per user and what those maximums were. The hard part we found was it's difficult to communicate that in a good way through the UX, but it's something that we're looking at re-putting back in to have more options when you set up the backpack. And probably when we do that second pass on the backpack for allowing you to script it, allowing you to set it, we'll probably introduce those there. 10, we tried 3 internally as the setting, but it just was not very interesting. It can be a little bit of a griefing thing, I know, but I don't know. It's we're kind of weighing like fun versus potential griefing. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm getting turkeyed right now. So,
I think it's really fun. It would just be really cool, like if we could control it per experience.
Yeah, right now it's just on or off, but yeah, we should. It's just we want to make sure that it's kind of a consistent. It's not confusing to new people coming in. Like, why can I do it here but not here? Why is it less here than here? And we need a good way to communicate that. And we're trying to get it out quickly, so we needed to. That's one of the things that we didn't focus on, but it's something we should come back to.
And it can crash a sim. If everybody starts doing it, it's crashed sims.
It can do it. I haven't seen too many of those though.
It's stable today.
Been pretty stable.
Crazy.
I haven't seen too many of those, but I know that it can happen.
You leave Sansar stable over Christmas if everybody's going.
Is that
a release is?
Is that a real question?
Kinda.
Yeah, we'll try to leave Sansar stable.
And if not, we'll see you in 2020.
Yeah, maybe if we can see, who knows? Ari asks, so any plans for reskinning tools for Avatar? Maybe those, maybe have those talented in making skins offer some skins from you all to choose from. We actually,
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Callie. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say we actually come to creators fairly often if we're doing some new stuff for the store. So, yeah, we have no problem with that sort of workflow. But go ahead, Stretch.
Yeah. I mean. Again, it's about where that fit in. We did start some work on being able to upload your own skins, like UI for having two sets of texture imports, and stuff like that. But again, it's kind of gotten reshuffled a little bit. So I'm not sure. We're still kind of working out exactly where Q1 is going to land. We know what we're doing for this month, and it's not happening this month. But it is something that I think would allow for a ton of variety, and you could get really good skins out of people. Can make better skins than we can. So, but it should be a store item. It should be something you can buy and sell, and it should be something that's importable like other stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. I think that's all so far. So we have 10 minutes left, everybody. Okay, new questions coming in. Is Christmas 2020 in Sansar looking like a positive event? I need some good news today. I think, hopefully Christmas will be good in Sansar. We're going to have a bunch of new stuff out by then, so that'll be cool.
This is Christmas 2020, though. That's like next year.
Oh, yeah.
This is Christmas 2019.
Now I understand. Hindsight is 2020. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you like that pun?
Oh, that was terrible.
That's
terrible.
Giving. Ransom asks, is the emissive brightness the right level for these rings? Some mentioned it being too high, maybe. You mean these rings?
It's all relative.
Oh my God, Galileo.
It's blinding. I mean, that's what makes it EDM.
Evo, Zero Cheese, I don't know where you are, by the way. Oh, there you are. Yeah, we know about that one. That's the one that Stretch is saying he's theoretically got fixed.
That one? That's fixed.
In theory.
I fixed that one. I personally fixed that one. So if it's broken, then you can yell at me.
Okay. Jalal Cool screams, put more items in the backpack.
You got it, man. We're on it.
Hey, everybody look at El Diablo running around in just high-heel boots. I can't talk.
Only high-heel boots.
Is that El Diablo who is? Yeah, it is. Hey, those are moving pretty good.
Nice job, El Diablo, with the high heel. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's literally all you are. That's awesome.
It's also like a secret hidden plane from behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little ghost.
Only when he moves, though. I don't see it when he stands still.
I see it. You gotta get the camera angle right.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. That's funny.
All right.
Medhu's got a question.
All right, Medhu, will event traffic count toward world traffic?
Ooh,
Yes.
good question.
So some people have expressed frustration around what the hell, I can't use scenes anymore. I need a published world before I can create my event. And while it seems frustrating at first, the reason we did that is so that your worlds do receive credit now. That was the whole reason for that change. Is upon creating events, we link the world that you selected, and that world will receive credit going forward. You can always change the scene associated with that content after the fact. It's kind of your call. Yeah, the world in the codex is unlocked for that person and added to their visited, and you receive credit. So, yep.
Bowden, will you be also updating the layout of the web atlas? Because I
Yeah,
use
probably
that a
not.
lot when I okay. Because I use that a lot when I send it to people outside of Sansar.
Yeah, at the moment, I can't see us making any substantial changes to the web atlas. It will probably function as it does today. Any UI changes we should probably expect for the event pages or in-world atlas.
Okay.
Or codex, sorry.
Okay. Because it'd be cool if the events showed up in the in-world on the atlas webpage.
Oh, well, I mean,
On
the
world.
events... Oh, sure,
On that,
yeah.
in the atlas itself, not under events.
Well, we have talked about doing that. We've talked about doing that more in a kind of event-centric focus. And this isn't planned or being developed, but one of the ideas we were floating around was if someone lands on an event page, let's show them other events by that person, and allow them to click interested. It basically just surfacing content by that creator on a given page just to highlight their other stuff. So yeah, we've thought about things like that, but yeah.
Because some of us use it to see if we want to log in.
Oh, sure.
And if a lot of people are at an event, but the event times out and it's not showing, then it almost looks like, oh, well, okay, maybe I won't log in today.
Yeah,
And maybe
totally.
that's a bad thing. Maybe we should just log in and not look at
I would say you guys should just never log out. Would be my recommendation.
No, I totally agree. Like, what we should, if there's people in somewhere, we should be showing it the first thing that you see when you get to the website, in my opinion. but
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it
there are 50
depends.
people in this place.
Yeah, it's hyper dependent upon how someone gets to the website. The cold call, let's say,
Well,
where you
whatever.
just
Like, I mean, just on the event, like on the Atlas. If you're on the Atlas page, you should see the top where everybody is, regardless if the event is open or closed or if there's any of that stuff. Like, it should just be there are 50 people here. It's a public place you can get to. You should be able to go there.
Like the event gets added to the actual atlas.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know how it works under the hood. I'm not on the website. I'm just giving my opinion. Probably get.
Yeah. Are we working on a universal chat at all? So anywhere you are in Sansar, you can chat with anybody else.
if you could just put your questions in chat, that'd be great.
That was me asking. Just
kidding.
oh boy.
a global chat.
You're gonna get turkeyed.
Yeah, we've talked about doing global chat. It's not. It is on, let's say, the roadmap of the things that we're considering doing. It's not been pulled to be worked on necessarily, but it is part of what we're thinking about. How do we connect people across Sansar, and that's been a solution thrown out there. So possibly.
Okay, cool. I think that would be helpful. I know a lot of times people have complained about playing Discord, which instead of Sansar.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, which is fine, because sometimes people can't log on to Sansar because they're out, right? So Discord's the next best thing. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. It'd also make things feel a little less empty, because sometimes people are building and they want to talk to people and they don't want to have to pop out, that kind of stuff. Okay. What else do we have?
Evo, I've got a question.
Evo, can we have an access hinge turn and movement locking in the scripting API?
Weren't we just talking about this morning, Stretch?
I don't know. I don't remember talking about the movement API this morning, but access hinge turn and movement locking.
I thought that was like the inverse inertia stuff that we were talking about.
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay.
This is the movement API. So this is like, access hinge turning. So you mean like, Evo, you mean like a door or something like that? So you can like move?
Go ahead and speak, Evo, if you want.
Hmm?
Damping does locking on all axes, he says.
Basically, to do a door, you need like 2 hinges.
Yes.
To make it like to have 2 points where they're locked, and everything else can move around those hinges. And same for just rotation, like locking. If you have an NPC that can turn but can't like fall over,
Yes.
then he should return only on one axis.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. We should add that to the movement API. Yes. The one thing, yeah. I mean, I think.
Should be for dynamic objects, not
So, yes. So for dynamic objects, we were talking about this today. Actually, this is what we were talking about, which is you can do this for dynamic objects using the inverse inertia. So inverse inertia will make it so if say you set it to 0 along an axis, then it will no longer rotate along that axis. So for a door, you would set 2 of the axes to be 0, and then it would rotate along the 3rd axis only and not rotate in the other direction.
The problem is that the door would fall down if it's dynamic and try to place it somewhere.
Yes.
So you need like positional locking as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Why does the door need to be dynamic?
If you want it to be like a
old Western swinging saloon
door,
doors.
yeah.
You can still do that with just animation and bones and collision on the bone.
It's not as cool though.
You want to push it with physics. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. So you like run into it, it swings.
Or you shoot
it.
it.
It just kind of goes back and down. You shoot it. What we want is actually
you have in your game, though?
Physics constraints. Physics constraints is the answer. So you want to have like physics constraints.
Look at all the turkeys in here and the balls and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fine. Like you can have, the big thing comes down to like physics constraints is fine, and we should expose those. Because you can have hinge constraints, limited hinge constraints, ragdoll constraints, there's even like screw constraints. So there's all kinds of crazy constraints that we have available to us. We just need to expose them.
Couldn't we climb if we had those too?
So just want to.
It's not exactly the same because you're not like your character controller isn't necessarily like a physical object. I mean, it's kind of a physical object, but it's the way that character controllers work is generally it's like there's multiple ways to get it to work. But the way that this character controller works is it's kind of in the world, not in the world. It moves through asynchronous queries, like linear casts of the shape. It doesn't necessarily move like a physics object. So it does its kind of own integration. It's a little different, but hinged stuff, like constraints would be a good one. The big thing is like synchronizing constraints over the network is actually pretty tricky. So I'll have to. It's a trickier one, especially chains of constraints. But yeah.
Okay, everybody, we are at time, so the Sansar team is probably going to go get lunch before it's eaten by the Second Life team. So let's go ahead and if you have any more questions, we'll go ahead and get them down. And if you want me to follow up with an answer, just tag me in Discord, and I'll see if I can get that answer for you.
Thank you all.
If anybody from the Sansar side is willing to stay in here for a little bit to answer questions, that's up to you.
I'm going to stay around, not to answer questions, but to check it out.
Okay. Yeah, this is a really cool experience. So, if you want to lead everybody around, go for it.
Well, you know what? Can I suggest we go to the latest published one? Because we made changes last night.
Portal.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody say bye to the rest of the internet.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, internet.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.